going to grab that paperwork for you right now, Mr. Owens. Thank you. All right, Mr. English, I'm going to have you go up to the podium there, please. We're on the record in People versus Michael English. This is case number 244925. Mr. English is present here in the courtroom today. We got Mr. Horowitz present, as well as Mr. Ziegler. Mr. English, you indicated off the record earlier today that you're asking to have Mr. Horowitz discharged. Is that right?
That's not all of it that's on there. There's other stuff. My wife's the reason why I'm firing him is because he tried coercing her into saying that I was guilty of these charges. She's making that on the case.
Okay. Are you going to hire your own attorney?
No, I'm going to represent myself.
You're going to represent yourself. Okay.
If I can't get another one appointed to me, I'm going to represent myself.
Okay. All right. And so let me go through a few things with you. I mean, do you want to represent yourself, or are you saying that you're going to be forced to represent yourself if we don't appoint another attorney?
Yeah, if you don't, I'll be forced to represent myself if I can't get another one appointed to me.
Okay. All right, Mr. Horowitz. Well, Mr. Seeger, do you mind jumping in on this? I don't know. I know I'm catching you.
Yeah, Your Honor, I guess the procedure, at least as I understand, Mr. Travis was initially the attorney. And with Mr. Horowitz, generally speaking, I try and afford someone if they want a separate counsel on occasion. But generally, I don't want to get into the idea of forever rotating our attorneys, for which the end result is going to continue to be the same. I might like an attorney for whatever reason. Some access. But I have the same concern here that it's not going to play whoever signs. It's just going to be the same process.
Okay, so Mr. English was assigned Mr. Travis. He requested a different attorney, so then Mr. Horowitz was assigned. Is that what you've done as the administrator?
Yes.
Okay. So just for the record, Mr. Seeger is the MIDC administrator for Kalkaska County, and he's present at the back of the courtroom. I asked for clarification on the status of counsel, and he's indicated for the record, to the extent that the microphone didn't pick it up, that Mr. English was initially assigned Mr. Travis as counsel, that upon his request, Mr. English's request, he was removed and Mr. Horowitz was assigned. So Mr. English, you know, we don't have just a never-ending stable of attorneys to continue every time you decide you don't like one.
It's not that I don't, he wasn't saying I don't like them, it's just they're not doing their job.
Well, what you believe to be their job. And, you know, again, that's a very subjective.
I've already wrote the assistant attorney general and then Pierce about this too, to report my complaints with them about Ziegler and Horowitz and Travis. So
right. So again, whether you think somebody's doing their job or not is a very subjective thing. And so it's not just up to you to decide, I don't like the way they're doing their job, and then I could appoint 5, 10 different attorneys for you, and you might decide you don't think any of them are doing their job. And then what do we do? I mean, do you think that I should just continue to appoint you new attorneys, and then when you decide that you don't think they're doing their job, I just choose another one? Like, how many should I go through before? I'm asking you.
I'd say I have to keep going through them. Just he's not doing his job, and he's trying to coerce a key witness in this case to admit that I'm guilty to him. Then he should not be my attorney.
Okay. All right. Well, as far as I can see from the proceedings that we've had, Mr. Horowitz is adequately representing you. You may not agree with the advice that he's giving you, but that's not his job, is to tell you what you want to hear. His job is to advise you about what he thinks your best options are, and you may not agree with that. But I'm not gonna appoint another attorney for you. If you want to hire your own attorney, you're free to do that at any time. All right, Mr. Horowitz, I'm going to have you remain counsel of record, so that if Mr. English decides that he wants to consult with you, that he could do that. This isn't a standby appointment. I'm going to have you remain counsel of record, but I'm going to address Mr. English individually. And then if this is going to go to trial, we'll figure out how we're going to proceed on that.
Understood. Thank you.
But at this point, I don't find that Mr. English is making a knowing and voluntary and unequivocal waiver of counsel when it's based on he wants different counsel and the court's declining to provide that. So then he wants to represent himself. I don't think I can find that's again a voluntary, knowing and unequivocal waiver of counsel. So, Mr. English, how do you want to proceed with your case? Do you want, your options would be to enter into some kind of plea agreement with the prosecutor, or
Not doing no agreement.
to go to
I'll
trial?
take it to trial.
Okay. All right. Mr. Ziegler.
Subpoenas for my witnesses.
Yep, Mr. Horowitz will help
He's not
you.
my attorney.
He is your attorney.
Nope, I am firing him and I'm doing it myself.
That's not your choice at this point.
Yes, it is my choice.
No, it's not.
Then I will be filing a motion to have you taken off this case too.
You're free to file whatever motions you would like. But he's going to remain your attorney. You can choose to work with them or not. That's up to you. But he'll be preparing your case and presenting your case in front of the jury. Yes, he will.
No.
Yes.
No.
You're not in charge here. Okay.
You're not in charge either,
Uh,
because I will be, like
I
I said,
am in charge.
I've already wrote, the judges, or the Michigan, Judicial Tenure Commission about you too, so.
You can do all of that, but
I've already
until they
reported
do
you, so
something.
you are under investigation, along with him and him, so you're not, no.
That's fine, but until
I'm
that
not having him
happens,
represent me, so no.
until that happens, I am in charge. Okay, so you can say whatever you want, but that's the facts. You can accept those.
Facts is that he's not my attorney,
He is your attorney.
no.
Okay.
I will be filing.
Mr. Ziegler, how much
too.
time do you need to be ready for trial?
Your Honor, we could be ready within 90 days.
Mr. Horowitz,
Good luck with that.
understanding that
So you
you
don't
can
have
have
no
difficulties with your client, is that enough time for you to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ziegler, how many days of trial do you think we would do in this case?
Your Honor, I think one day on each file would be sufficient.
Okay, I think we just had one, we have two files up for today.
There is a second file, Your Honor. There's only one out for today.
Are they gonna be joined for trial?
They are not, Your Honor. There's separate incidents. I believe they occurred on different days. So I wouldn't be filing any motions for joinder.
So is 4925, which is the file we're dealing with today, would that be the earliest in time?
It would, Your Honor.
Oh, so we'll try that one first. You said one day?
Yes, Your Honor. I think that would be sufficient.
All right, Mr. Horowitz, do you think one day would be enough time?
I think the only thing that it depends on is if Mr. English has witnesses that he wants to be subpoenaed. That could affect the length of the trial. But at this point, I don't know that he will provide me the list of which witnesses he wishes to have.
Was fleeting and looting? I have a whole list.
Okay, so we'll set this, I'll set it for 2 days, as you would say. We'll set it for a jury trial. Mr. English, please, I'm trying to record.
I'm giving him my list, shut up.
You say that again, I'm gonna find you in contempt.
Go ahead.
I'll find that you're in contempt. I'm gonna sentence you to 90 days in the Kalkaska County Jail for direct contempt. And the court's gonna order that that be served consecutive with any sentence that you might receive in this case.
Okay, you go fuck yourself.
Okay. We're gonna have Mr. English removed from the courtroom at this time. He's obviously not gonna participate meaningfully in his own hearing.
You can go fuck off. What a little bitch.
Ziegler, I'm gonna ask that you follow the typical procedure of submitting jury instructions prior to trial, Mr. Horowitz. All you need to submit is any instructions that are additional or different than Mr. Ziegler's, or any objections that you might have. The court will set this for one final status conference plea cutoff. On the court's motion to immediately preceding the trial date. Mr. Ziegler, anything further that we can address from your side today?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Horowitz?
No, Judge, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. The court will send out notices of the date and times of those hearings and go from there. For the record, just so council's aware, the court's going to prepare a judgment of sentence on the contempt charge that I'm proposing for Mr. English's behavior here in court today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Understood.